It is Bruins Benders postgame live on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel with Matty and Smitty. Click subscribe to get your Bruins Benders merch on InsideTheRink.com/Bruins-Benders. Follow us on the social media. And the Boston Bruins finding more ways to lose tonight, 3-2 in overtime. No, it wasn't in overtime because Nikita Zadorov's stick explodes as he's trying to pass the puck in front of his goaltender. And the Bruins lose with 18.6 to go. Another goal toward the end of a period, under a minute to play. Dodged a bullet on the offsides, but then give it up anyway. And I'll tell you what, I thought for the first time in a while, I thought the Bruins really deserved to win. Like, I thought they played really well the second and third period. They played as well as they played in weeks, it seemed. That second and third, especially on the road.
Yeah, that was their best road game in a long, long time. It really was.
It was.
Other in the first period, other than the putrid power play and giving up the shorthanded goal, like they outshot him in the first, had a bunch of chances. And in the second and third, I thought they were the better team. They just, some shitty bounces, some bad luck, some dumb decisions, which is, what they do. But, overall, they deserve to win that game. They had the much better, of the chances. Although I thought Korpisalo was really good too. Just a kind of a bad luck thing. The stick explodes and you lose. But that's been their story all year long. Like the puck luck this year, the karma this year, for whatever reason, is not with the Bruins. It's not with them. And people will say you make your own luck, which I think is true for a majority of the time. Tonight was not the case, though. Tonight they deserve better than what they got.
I thought so, and I thought their passing, we've been bitching about their passing all year long. I thought in the second and third period, the passing was really good. They were creating plays, creating space for their teammates. There were some guys, though, like Charlie Coyle. If they aren't calling everybody to try to trade Charlie Coyle, then they're doing a disservice. Like, I don't understand why you would keep him. You're not going to extend him past after next year. Like, I think you just have to move on from him. He would be the number one guy, other than probably Marchand, as reports indicate today. But Coyle would be the next guy in line to try to get rid of that guy and try to get something for him.
Yeah, I think of the guys that you have left here that you would definitely want to move, I would say Coyle is at the top of the list. Marchand, I don't think they want to move him, and I don't think he wants to move, but whether they can come to an extension number that suits both sides, I don't know. But obviously he would fetch you the most in return. And then, guys like Geeky and Brandon Carlo, but I'm not in a rush to move either one of those guys, really. Those are guys that can be part of your future going forward. If you trade those guys, you just have to replace them. They're both still relatively young, Geeky especially. And he's shown some chemistry with Pastrnak. So I'm looking to sign that guy to an extension. I'm not looking to move him unless I'm blown away. If I'm blown away by somebody, then sure. If you're going to give me, a first and an elite prospect and a roster player, then yeah, sure, I will.
Right.
But, unless you're blowing me away with something, I think he can be part of the solution, especially showing the chemistry that he has with Pastrnak.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you. I think Carlo and Geeky are definitely blown away type guys. I still, with Carlo, I still think that's a guy making that kind of money with some term left, and he's, when he's good, he's really good. And it's the money and the contract and the fact that you don't have a lot on the right side.
Yeah,
like you trade him, what the hell are you gonna do? Like, honestly.
Right. You need to get right D back in return. So essentially you're replacing him. So, I mean, I get it. If you can upgrade there, maybe offensively a little bit, and you still get a guy who's, pretty good defensively, maybe that's a trade-off. Maybe you get a little younger and you get a little more offensive there. Yeah, I would consider that, especially if you get, if it's a first rounder and a prospect, in return, I would definitely consider that. But again, I'm not doing it unless I get blown away because his contract is too good. And when he's right, he's really good.
Yes.
He just hasn't been right this year, but no one else has either. I mean, the whole team more shit all year long. It's not just him; it's everybody.
Right. Well, the thing with Geeks is that you're going to probably get him at a really affordable number still because he's an RFA,
right?
And if you can do that, and you can see, it's almost like you almost have a built-in like prove it deal coming up.
Sure.
Can you prove it again, and then you talk about it later on. But I think I keep him like you said, and unless I was for like let's sell him, but
sure,
he's really showing now that he has an outside chance of 30 goals. Geez, and he has progressed every year you've had him. Like you had 7, I think he had 17 and now 22, and so he's getting better and better and better. And he's 25. Like this is kind of prime years coming in here. So, and you don't have a lot of scoring to begin with.
Exactly my point.
So Jesus,
don't go trading away one of the very few 20 goal scorers you have.
Right.
And the guy's only 25, and you have him under team control, and he's showing chemistry with Pastrnak. Like that's one less thing you got to worry about. One less thing, and you should be able to get him at an affordable price again.
Yes.
There's only 4 guys in the NHL since December 4th with more goals than him. 4 in the entire
league. Yeah. He's on a 44 goal pace over 82 games now at the stretch. It's December.
He's had 20 goals in his last 37 games. It's not a fluke.
Jesus. No, that's not fluky at all.
No, that's that's half a season. So, he's shown that he can do it if he's given the opportunity with good players. So, and he has an elite shot. And we've talked about, having an elite skill. He has one. He has an elite shot, and he seems to know what to do playing with good players, like where to get to, where the soft spots are when you're playing with a Pastrnak or a Zacha or whatever. So, I think he's part of the solution, not part of the problem.
I think you're going to see them not move him probably. But as Emily Kaplan reported tonight, and I've been saying for weeks, they are going to trade Brad Marchand. I'm going to say it again. And I've been saying it. All these other local media that poo-poo it and say, "Oh, they're not going to trade Marchand. Not going to. You can't. They'll never trade Marchand." Blah blah blah. They are trading Marchand because they are continuing to talk, and they continuing to not coming up with an agreement. So you can't let the guy walk at the end of the year. To me, it seems like the Bruins have given a number, and that's it. And they keep talking, but they're not. So they must not be that close.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Marchand wants, Elias Lindholm money or more because he should want that. He should want that from him. And I don't blame the team for not giving a 37-year-old guy who's coming off of 3 surgeries that kind of money.
I'm not either.
So
I don't want to do that either.
No, I don't really blame either side. I don't blame Marchand for trying to get what he deserves.
Yeah.
Because he does deserve it. But I don't blame the team for not giving it to him at this stage of his career. I don't. And I'm with everyone else. Yes, I would love for him to retire a Bruin. I would. He should retire a Bruin, if it was under the right circumstances. But it's not the right circumstances now.
No.
The team's no good. Maybe he wants out to go chase a cup in his last 2 years and not be part of a rebuild. Everybody's like, if they trade Marchand, I'm out. Like, what if he wants out? What if he wants to go somewhere else and chase a cup for his last few years instead of, staying here and being part of a retool? You have to there's more than one side to this thing. And I don't really blame either side for it not working out, but I think you're probably right. It shouldn't work out and he should be moved so he doesn't walk away for nothing.
To me, today's reports, and it wasn't just her, it was other people in the media talking about how teams are calling and they're trying to me, that's the little seed that they've planted out there to prepare people that it's going to happen. We're a day before the trade deadline. Yeah. All these reports start coming out through the media. This is how the Bruins and other teams typically do things. look at the tenor of the group. See what happens. We're gonna softly say that this could happen, and then it happens. It's going to happen. They're going to trade the guy because these reports wouldn't come out today if it wasn't getting closer to moving him. I'm sorry, it's just going to happen. So, got to prepare yourself. Now, what they're going to get and where he's going to go, I always thought it was Colorado, but now we're hearing maybe Vegas might be in there, and there's some other teams coming
LA.
in. Take the friggin' best. Take Quentin Byfield and somebody, right?
I mean, if LA is offering Quentin Byfield and a first, I'm jumping on that.
I'm in on that.
Fast as possible. Sure. I would even take a first and Brant Clark and somebody like,
yes,
he's a young defenseman with some offensive potential, like that, doesn't really have a spot in LA right now. So that's a guy that I would definitely be, excited to get if I was the Bruins. So there's some potential trades out there. I don't know what the Avalanche have to give you that I would be real excited about. That's the only thing about trading him to Colorado. I mean, people mention Colin Ritchie, but I don't know enough about him.
I don't either.
I don't know how good he is. So if someone else is offering me a Quentin Byfield, if LA is offering that, or if Vegas is offering something, because I've heard them mentioned as well. Dallas as well mentioned. If you get one of those young studs off of Dallas's team, if you can get a Stankoven or somebody like that, I don't know what they'd be willing to trade or not. He seems like he's fallen out of favor a little bit, maybe, but
right.
I like you said, take the best deal. Take the best deal.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that. We're seeing with Mason Lohrei, we're seeing more time, and I think it's really helping him. I mean, he seems to be more vocal. Like I heard him before the game talking to the media, and he seems to be a lot more comfortable right now. This could be the best thing that ever happened to him, with Lindholm being out, McAvoy being out, and just kind of being pretty much the guy. I mean, Carlo hasn't been playing that well, and then you have Zadorov and a bunch of guys. So look, we're starting to see Lohrei showcase a little bit more. There's your defensive deficiencies, but I think that he's definitely playing with more confidence out there. So that's been a good thing. The biggest offseason in the world is with Matt Patra. I mean, they have to get a second line center out of this guy. And if they don't, then they're even more screwed. Like he has to have a great offseason and come in next year and solidify a top 6 role. Has to.
Yeah, they're in trouble if he doesn't do it. And he hasn't shown much of anything lately. He hasn't.
No.
And I think some of that can be attributed to who he's playing with. Sure. But he's also not making great decisions.
No,
like he's just not playing great right now. He's coughing the puck up. He's making bad decisions along the walls. He's just he's
bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, and he is. He's been bounced around. Yeah. He's a little slight. So he's got to hit the weights. He's got to be able to possess a puck with guys leaning on him in this league, and that's not an easy thing to do because there's big boys in this league. So he's got to figure out, because he's slippery along the wall. He can get off, shake a check and make plays. But, if you're making a play to Vinny Lettieri or fucking Justin Brazo or Riley Tufte or Cole Kepke, I mean, whoever. I mean, wow. It's not exactly, Pastrnak and
we're gonna look back on this team like 5 years from now and be like, who was on that team? Remember who? It'd take forever to figure out who was on that team.
Yeah, somebody tweeted out today and said it wasn't too long ago when they listed the Bruins lineup from like 21-22 or the 22-20, whatever season they had the record-breaking team.
Wow.
What a damn difference.
Oh my God, that was a wagon of a team.
It was like Marchand, Pastrnak, and Bertuzzi, and then
Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall was on the third line with Freddie and Coyle.
Yeah, Fred. Yeah.
He was. I mean, that was a pretty good team. This team is Riley Tufte and Ian Mitchell and something named whatever, Riley, something named Tufte. I don't know. Tufty had a point blank chance tonight, and just just not super skilled. And
He had a shot, 2 hits, and a giveaway. Right?
yeah, I mean, all the guys they brought in, bring in Max Jones. Now he's gone. They bring in Riley Tufty, and they give 3 years to Mark Kessler because you really had to get it done. I mean, for some reason, you had to get that sumbitch done in December. Couldn't let that thing ride.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine tonight, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's
fine.
But I agree with you, though. There was no reason to do that deal.
No,
at the time they did it. None.
There wasn't.
None.
I don't
and
know.
John Beach is out there, kicking guys in the face, and fumbling the puck and falling down, and just I don't understand the infatuation with him. I really don't.
I don't either. And Christy DeLisi in the comments says, I'm sure you all are so thrilled to see Jesper Boquist and AJ Greer having career seasons down in Florida. Like, Jesus Christ. Frank Vetrano has like 18 goals. Ryan Donato has like 19 even strength goals.
Yeah, he has like the fifth most even strength goals in the league.
In the league, yes.
Some ridiculous thing.
Yeah. Unreal. But you know what? I didn't mind getting Coyle for Donato.
I didn't.
It was still a good trade. I don't give a shit.
It was.
But all right, let's get to the comments. Patrick Callahan, Pasta and Geeky with a true number one center would be fire. I'll tell you what, they have great chemistry right now.
They do,
and they seem to like to play together. Mm-hmm. I think it's really helping Pastrnak too to have a guy that's putting the puck in the net, and I think that's helping him too. So that's another thing. Like, you trade Geeky, then who the hell is going to play with Pastrnak? You really have to have a good offseason. There's no guarantee players will come here,
right?
Because you're not good.
No, you've been looking for a guy to play with him forever, and now you finally found one, and you're going to move him.
Move him 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later.
Zacha's fine there. Like, he's fine there between those guys because he does some of the little things, and he's mostly defensively responsible, and he's got a pretty good shot when he could use it. So I mean,
they like to play together.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like, I'm fine with that line. It's the second line where you really need to, figure that thing out, because
you do.
Essentially, Elias Lindholm, really, although you're paying him like a number one center, should be your 3. Coyle should be gone. He should be your 3, and hopefully Patra's your 2 with 2 wingers that can actually play.
Right.
But we got to cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
T-Bar says, Carlo playing tonight. I guess he is not moving. For fuck's sake. Sorry, John. I really don't think they're going to move Carlo.
I don't think they're
going to make that bold of a move. I think they'll move Marchand.
That's a bold move, though.
That's a bold move. But I think that's going to be necessary, because I don't think he's going to sign for the number they want. And he probably wants 3 times 7. And I would, if I was him. I mean, I'd want 3 times 7. And someone may give it to him. So I think they do move him. Other than that, I don't think anybody else is moving. I don't unless it's Marchand or bust right now.
I think Marchand. Like I said,
get anything for Brazo. Who the fuck's Brazo? Does he even play anymore? Like,
well, I mean,
he hasn't had goals since fucking October.
He's scratched, but is that for trade purposes? Like, is that why Connor Brown or whatever Brown?
What can Brown do for you?
Yeah,
not a whole lot. Not a lot.
UPS is playing.
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, look, I don't know what you could get for him, but if it's a 5th, that's enough for me.
No, take at this point, take whatever. You're not going to sign him.
No,
because he's been scratched before this. I mean, it's not like he was in there playing every single night like Beecher.
No, I mean, I think somebody could see his, the potential he had earlier in the season where he was scoring a little bit and say, well, look, if we playing with some good players, maybe he scores some goals for us. If he's a net front of the power play, he's a big boy. Maybe he scores some goals for us.
Maybe
someone would give you a 4th or a 5th. I don't know. Right. But if they do, take it and run.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to be a part of your future. So if you can deal him off, deal him off.
Yeah. I typically don't love bottom 6 guys that can't penalty kill, can't do other shit.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't love those guys. Like, I'd like a penalty killers down there or something else bring to the table to get some more bang for your buck. And that's just me. But I don't think you're going to get anything for him. So I'm with you. If you can get anything, You just trade him.
Yeah.
Like, what are you waiting for? Did someone call you and say, we'll give you a 4th for Justin Brazo? Why didn't you do that 6 weeks ago?
You should have.
Just fucking trade the guy.
They should have, after he scored his 10th goal, they should have opened up the calls, right? At very moment.
They should have put an ad in the newspaper and said Justin Brazo is.
It was January something, and he's like, Justin Brazo has 10 goals and 20 points or something, and be like, we'll start the bidding at, a second round pick. And then everybody goes, no. And you say a third. And somebody might have bit for a third back then when he was hot. Not now, but.
This is a good point. This is a good point in the comments. Dewey Splain says, does this team ever practice 2-on-1s? It seems like every time it's a fucking 2-on-1. They didn't even get a shot off. Like tonight, it was Jesus. Elias Lindholm had a perfect 2-on-1 up to, doesn't pass it at the right time. And then the guy's laying on the ice and he fires it into his fucking knee. Like, what are we doing?
How about the 2-on-1? Was it Carlo and Beecher on the 2-on-1?
How does that happen?
And no wonder they didn't get a scoring chance. Carlo,
oh my God,
fires it into fucking Sean Walker's fucking pants.
Sean Walker.
And then digs the puck out when everybody's up ice and almost gives up an odd man rush the other way.
Oh God, wasn't Scott Walker the one that ended this season?
Yeah,
Gaines back
he
a ways back.
Somebody, and then
he did. He second punched Aaron Ward. Remember that?
Second punched Aaron Ward, and then he scored the OT game winner.
He did.
In that season. Yep.
Yeah. My God, that might have been like 15 or 16 or in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah, it was a while back. Beecher leads the league in perfect games: 0 shots, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points. Fox guy 67. Geeky leads the league in perfect games. Yeah, I don't know.
Had a block shot, a hit, and he played 14-11 time on ice, 6 face-off wins, 4 losses, 60% at the dot.
Unbelievable.
Elias Lindholm at the dot tonight, 12-2, 85%.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only value he has.
He's your third line center.
Hopefully the league doesn't eliminate face-offs, so he'll be out of a job. All right. T-Boz's sip tonight is Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve 15-year 107 proof. Would never crack this gem for this shit heel team. It's my anniversary with the wife. Hey, happy anniversary, T-Boz.
Happy anniversary, T-Boz.
Mrs. T-Boz.
T-Boz is moving out of Florida, it sounded like.
He's moving out?
Yeah, he was talking to producer Connor during the last live that he's moving to like Illinois or some bullshit. Or
is he moving there? Producer Connor?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's living at Connor's house.
He's going to live at Connor's there for a while, save up some money.
Yeah, he's staying with Connor for a bit.
Yeah. I hope he likes, Connor doesn't like alcohol. So
no, T-Boz will drink all the alcohol. Yeah, Connor just hits the
natural sources
and then the natural herbs.
The grass, as my father would still say.
Yeah.
So Fox guy is 67. His sip is Stone IPA.
Nice.
It's nice. The final, okay. Here's the thing: the final 5, the 4. I don't know the fantastic
150 final 5.
Well, yeah, there you go. Dan Mader was saying about it tonight. They are terrible after that. They used to be really good after that. Like it's winning time, like Jack and Andy would say, But now they are brutal. When they say that thing, they're gonna hit the skids.
I think Ford should stop sponsoring that fucking thing, shouldn't they?
I think so.
Sorry, John. They should really. Ford should just be like, look, we're out. New England Ford dealers are out on this team. We're out on the final 5 because every time the other team scores, not us. So
no. Korpi, I thought played well tonight. He made a huge save on Rantanen with the glove. Yeah,
sure did.
Another save on Hall, like down low. Yeah. With kind of a typical, almost a toe save on Hall. And then bad luck. He gets a puck off Wotherspoon. He gets a puck off Lowry that doesn't count because the offside. And then he gets Zadorov's fucking shattered stick. I mean, what are you going to do?
And the first one was Lowry, drop passing it or careless with the puck. Aho poked it away. Pastrnak with a flyby, and he gets Aho in on a breakaway. So those are the goals. Aho breakaway and, broken stick and some other bad luck. He was good tonight.
Yeah.
Good.
T Slizzy makes a point. If they trade Marchand, I'm going to be pissed though. For the team, great, but memory-wise, it will blow. What are your thoughts? Like, to me, I've learned a long time ago not to get too, caught up on the player and the legacy and all that stuff. I root for the team first. Like, it sucks that it comes to this, and I think the team kind of forced this on because they didn't make great moves. And here you are, and you're at this point where you're not gonna. I'll tell you what, if they were a contending team looking to be a contender the next couple of years, they'd probably consider giving him the money he wants. But now, because they put themselves in this situation, it looks stupid to give him the term and money that he wants.
Right. I agree with all that. I will say though that I agree that it kind of sucks. Like this, it'll kind of suck to see him in another jersey. It's like seeing Tom Brady in a Tampa Bay jersey. Like it just doesn't feel right. It kind of sucks. Right. And like, even though you root for him and you want him to win, you're still rooting for the Bruins. Like,
sure.
And it was like seeing Ray Bourque win at the end. Like, it was great for him to win it, but I really wanted him to win it in Boston. Like, I was happy that he went to Colorado and was able to win one, but I would have liked to see him end his career in Boston with a Stanley Cup, not somewhere else. So
no, and that's true. And when what happened with Bourque, at least the saving grace was we could root for Bourque to get that cup. So we rooted that Colorado would win. They didn't win that first year. They won it the second year.
Yeah.
So they had that time to kind of like, we're rooting for him. I think it lessened it a bit, but this is with Marchand. He already has a cup. This is just kind of like we're trading a guy because we suck so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we shouldn't have to.
Right.
And that's really the hard part about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's going to make the team better, and I care about the team first.
That's like sometimes it's a business. You have to make hard decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make hard decisions when they come up, and sometimes it's trading away a guy who's one of the most popular players and all-time great on the team. Tampa did it with Stamkos and used that money to sign Gensel, and they're playing pretty well. And Nashville's, even though Stamkos shoved it up your ass because you knew he would on Tuesday, Nashville's had a bad season, and Tampa's looking pretty good that they that they let Stamkos go. So sometimes you just have to make the hard decisions.
Sure. Florida Artist Bungalow. I cannot watch the rest of the games, but will always tune into your pod. Welcome back, Matty. Thanks so much for the welcome back. I was in the Dominican Republic. It was 85 and sunny every day. I had the Speedo going. I had the, the swim up pool. I had the, it's just one last, it was that one last gasp at, just trying to stay young at life. And now it just goes downhill from here. But it was great. 5 days out there, and it was sunny and beautiful and nice. And I think of all the places I've been to Jamaica, I've been to Bermuda, I've been to Cozumel, Mexico. I've been to some of those places, and
boys, we have a breaking Boston's Bruins trade to announce.
What is it?
The Minnesota Wild are trading a forward Russian, Kuznetsov.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah,
and your friend of the show, Jacob Lauko, to the Boston Bruins.
What?
For what?
Unknown yet. Kevin Weeks just dropped that.
What the fuck they get
those two players to the Bruins?
Why did they get Jacob Lauko back? I mean, I thought we were rid of that fucking fungus. Like, why?
I'm gonna lose my shit with Don Sweeney. Why are we trading for fucking fourth line? Like Kuznetsov or whatever the fuck his name is a fourth liner as well.
He is 2 fourth liners. Does that mean you're trading? Does that mean you're about to trade Brazo, like some fourth liners?
Brazo, Beecher, Tufty.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of fucking Christ.
You guys can keep it rolling, and I will keep you up to date as it drops some more.
I'm looking up these stats of these guys right now.
They're trading Kuznetsov and Zalko to the Bruins. Wow.
Kuznetsov.
Yeah.
Has played 57 games with the Wild, has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points, is a -6, has 14 penalty minutes.
So what does he do?
He plays 11-ish minutes. And he has 30 shots on goal. He does, let's see how big he is. He's 5'11". He's 22. So maybe it's a,
Are they position? Because I noticed they had a guy that they brought in on a professional tryout for the AHL. They also signed another guy, the AHL. Are they really like positioning themselves? Can these guys? Well, I'll tell you this: if you're on the roster for your by the trade deadline on the Providence Bruins rosters, you're eligible for the playoffs. So they're trying to get some reinforcements for the playoff run for the Providence Bruins. I mean, is this what we're doing?
that would be just like them, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? You have to be on the roster trade deadline day on the Providence Bruins roster to be eligible. So,
38 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, -5, 27 PIMs, plays 10 minutes a night.
I mean, we've seen this story before.
He's 6'1". He's 24 years old. So yeah, there you go.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to see who's going. Is Brazo going? But too that I mean, I guess I'd get that. But
Brazo and Beecher for Lauko and Kuznetsov.
Did you miss Lauko that much?
No.
Well, here's the other thing.
At all.
Lauko and Kuznets in my hand. Those two guys, are like 5'11". Like, what happened to the big thing? You're gonna trade 2 6'4" guys for 2 5'11" guys? I thought you were getting bigger. Like, what's going on? Like, what's the plan here? What's the plan?
I don't know.
I don't know if there is a plan.
I needed Connor to give us a scouting report on who's Zadorov. Because
best job, Zadorov. Jesus Christ! I mean,
I need to know if he's like an offensive.
Center.
I know he's a center, but I need to know if he's like offensively talented and he's like a young kid that's trying to break in, and he's a pro.
20, or is he 28?
What?
Friend of the show, Robert Chalmers just tweeted he's seen a lot of that player. He's got a little potential, was really strong in the KHL, needs a little more AHL seasoning, but plays well. Former teammate of Matvei Michkov.
Interesting.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see, like,
so this is probably one of those things where it's like Kuznetsov was riding shotgun with Michkov, and Michkov was doing all the things.
Yeah.
And was like, along for the ride. He's your whatever. Who was the guy, Greg Brown or whatever, that played with like Mario Lemieux and had like 144 points or something? What it was? Rob Brown.
Yeah.
Had
like 44 goals.
44 goals one season. Yeah, so that's probably like this guy playing next to Michkov.
Minnesota Wild are acquiring Justin Brazo in exchange for those two players.
Okay, I take it back.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm still on the size thing. What happened to all the size? And you're getting 2 5'11" guys. Like, this goes back to like what type of profile are you looking for in a player? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing?
Look, I don't give a shit about that anymore. I don't because you traded a guy that wasn't going to be part of your future, and you didn't get a fifth. You got a 22-year-old Russian guy with possible upside. So yeah. I
get you're right. I mean, you're talking about an ECHL player in Brazo.
Yeah,
that caught a little bit of lightning in a bottle for a bit. You're not going to sign him again, and you shouldn't, or I would absolutely go to the Bruins headquarters and talk to them about it. And now, so you get a guy with a little bit of a
strongly worded letter.
That's true. Yes. Do I still get my T-shirt, Matty? We'll send you a T-shirt, T-Boss. Sure. Well, in memoriam of Justin Brazo.
Yeah.
To the Minnesota Wild.
Maybe, yeah, because you said if trade or 15, you said you were going to do it.
Trade or 15 because I wanted him off the team.
Yeah.
So, yes, and you got something. You're right. You got something. So
You got something.
You got cute Nutsadov in Lemko. Yeah, so great. So great.
Cute Nutsadov.
You got him. So yes, there you go. Yeah. So there's another trade. So Brazeau. So I was wrong already. Brazeau goes for two guys. One, I don't know why you had to have maybe put Lauko on the AHL team for the playoff run and give it a go. I don't know.
I tell you what, I'd take him instead of John Beecher.
Yes,
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that swap.
And for what it's worth, since there's somebody in the chat here, T Slizzy, asking for the salary cap implications. I love you, salary cap nerds. The Bruins add about $1 million on the salary cap in this deal.
Okay, well, there's another one. There's another. Hey,
Lauko and Brazeau basically wash, and the Russian with a terrible name is about $925 against the cap.
Does he have a two-way contract? Like, can he go down?
He's currently in the AHL.
Oh, okay.
In the AHL. Okay, good.
Yep, he is currently on an AHL contract. And he is an RFA with arbitration rights this off season.
Okay. So it's an RFA. Okay.
Yep.
So I would have. Well, see, I don't know. I mean,
and so is Lauko for what it's worth.
So okay. So I would imagine they don't re-up Lauko, and maybe they just sign this guy instead. So basically, maybe it's just we'd rather sign this RFA than sign Brazeau. Get a guy who we'd rather go another year with.
Sure, he's 22 and he has some potential. So
sure, give it a go. I guess.
What I will say is they must not be too pissed about the Charlie McAvoy injury because they seemingly just did Minnesota a solid.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess they did.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I mean, it depends on what Brazeau. I mean, Brazeau's Brazeau. I mean, he's not going to add. I'll tell you what. Keep a close eye on Minnesota in the playoffs. See if Brazeau's in the lineup. See if he adds anything.
Yeah.
And if he does, then great. But at least you got something for a guy who was scrap heap guy. Like he was an ECHL guy. You just took a chance on.
Sure.
And you got something for him.
If you guys want some more, I actually have a real trade this time that might get the juices flowing.
Okay.
Rene Lavoie, Greg Wyshynski, and Frank Saravalli have all tweeted that forward JJ Peterka will be going from the Buffalo Sabres to the New York Rangers.
Unbelievable. They are the dumbest organization in sports.
Mm-hmm. So Peterka goes to the Rangers. They don't know what the return is?
Not yet.
Peterka is like a 60-point guy and is young. And he's one of the few guys there that's actually playing well.
Yeah, I know.
And then they have crazy. Like Cousins, who they signed to a huge deal, who hasn't been good.
Yeah.
Owen Power's been bad for them. They've had other guys who haven't been great. And this is the guy they decided to move. Like, Jesus. Like, it's so backwards. They're just backwards up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what they're worse off than the Bruins, because the Bruins don't have a clue of what they're doing either.
It should be probably a pretty good return, I would imagine, from New York.
For Peterka?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. So the Bruins trade Justin Brazeau. So now Brazeau's gone and Freddie's gone. So those are two guys that were on the radar. Mm-hmm. So now you got Marchand and Geeky. There's been talks about Zacha going.
Marchand, Geeky, Coyle, Carlo, Zacha.
Zacha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now Zacha, to me, makes pretty good money, pretty affordable contract.
Mm-hmm.
Still young, still a good age. Like, does a lot of little things. Not having a great production year, but is capable as he was last year. Put him with good players, and he'll probably be decent. So I'd have to be knocked over on Zacha.
Zacha's third on the team in scoring right now. So, I mean,
it has to be knocked over.
So it's
I think that's a guy you ride with right now.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he's still only 27. He's 6'3".
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, he's having a down year, but so isn't everyone else.
Yeah. Oh, T-Boz is talking about Savannah Jad. You think it's Savannah Jad
Well,
going to Buffalo? I mean, I don't know if
yeah,
that'd be even worse. I mean, I guess Buffalo could take a flyer on Savannah Jad, who hasn't been very good.
no,
Hasn't had the greatest year and has kind of fallen out of favor there. Rangers seem to be a mess as well. There's a lot. This is the thing about this year. They absolutely could have made the playoffs, the Bruins,
sure.
because there's many other teams who are just as fucking dysfunctional as you are, and you still didn't make it. Like, you still didn't make it. So now you're 10th, as Robert Giuliano said. Utah won tonight, so you're 10th. You'd be picking 10th or in the 10th spot for the lottery. So every single day that goes by, you got 18 games left. Every single day that goes by, you're closer and closer to maybe getting in a top 5 to 7 range, which is should be a really good prospect that you'll probably fuck up, but hopefully it's a really good prospect.
Hope so.
You know, I mean, I don't know. If Cheese Lizzie says, for a minute I thought it was Coyle going back to Minnesota. I was going to crash the fuck out. Oh God. No, it's Justin Brazeau.
Coyle should get more than in return then.
Yeah. I mean, it's a seller's market, as you can see.
Yes.
I mean, if Justin Brazeau gets 2 players, I don't give a shit who they are. If they're you and me, he gets 2 players back. That's a seller's market. I mean, my God. Oh, T-Boz is 3 hours from Connor. So, hey, it's doable, right?
Yeah.
Definitely a selling market. Zach Hayes says the same thing. Selling market. Coyle to the Kings for a first, throw in Lysell. I don't give a damn. There's another guy, Lysell, Merkulov. Those 2 guys. Got to figure out what you have in them.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just keep them down in the AHL forever. Like, figure it out. Like, I don't think Merkulov will be here next year. I think he'll be off to the KHL probably. Or they'll trade him tomorrow. Something's going to happen with him. I don't think he's back with the organization next year. Lysell is going to have to play, give it every opportunity in the world in training camp and then decide what you're doing with him. Like,
yeah,
you got to get something out of these 2 guys.
He needs to play in the AHL, and he needs to actually produce, and he needs to stay healthy, which he's had a problem doing all of those things.
Yeah.
And usually when he starts to play well, he gets hurt.
Right.
So, he's got to have like a relatively healthy season where he produces. And if that's the case, then the Bruins will probably bring him up at some point. But if not, I mean, he could certainly go in a deal. Like if you're trying to get, a young player from some other team and you have a collection of first round picks or, whatever, that might be somebody, because he's a first round pick that you could throw into the deal as a prospect, maybe to get somebody else in return.
So Fox Guy 67 says, will Brazeau come back to Boston to collect his 7th player award? Who's the 7th player award winner? Is it Geeky?
Yeah. Geeky.
I would assume it is, right?
I would say probably, it's got to be Geeky right now.
It's got to be, right? I mean, I don't know if everybody else is at a subpar year.
Did they change the rules where you couldn't give it to a guy who played on the top line anymore or something?
Did they?
I thought they might have.
Really?
Like in the
you
last.
Can't give it to a top line guy. You have to give it. See, this is their love affair with bottom 6 guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a guy that like goes above and beyond. Yeah, like not our player. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of any other guy. I mean,
who else?
There really isn't anyone else that deserves a thing.
Yeah,
unless you give it to Lowry, there's a potential that he could win.
T. Lizzie says we should do a live stream tomorrow after the deadline is over, if anything interesting happens. Well,
we haven't done our regular episode yet this week, so
maybe just bang that out live.
We were toying with the idea of doing it live after after the deadline to kind of recap the trades and see if any of it affects the Bruins and whatnot. So
maybe that's a good call.
That might be a thing.
That might be a thing. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's from someone you don't expect much from, and I really can't think of another guy who's gone above and beyond. It'll be, but it's a fan voting, right? So, Christ, it might be Pastrnak. Who knows?
No, I don't think guys that won it can win it again anymore either.
No, they can't. Okay,
No.
that's another thing. Okay, really pigeonholing yourself into
yeah,
somebody.
especially when the team fucking stinks.
Well, it stinks. I can't think of a guy.
Pick out a guy who's gone above and beyond when when most of the team sucks.
Yeah.
With all these rules on the 7th player award, they take this more seriously than their fucking drafting.
Well, it's a bottom 6. It's the whole culture of like the plugger, the grinder, the blue collar man, the whole thing. I mean, it's just it's another sign of they just look what they just did. They just signed a 4th liner for 2 AHL guys. That was their trade today. Like that's their move. I mean, that's what they do. And they signed another guy on the AHL and they extended another guy. I don't know. They're doing a lot of AHL shit, but not a lot of NHL stuff. Johnny Waffen says Tufty for 7th man. Has he played enough? Is there a limited amount of games? Has he played enough games? Like Christ. Oh my God.
I would have said Max Jones, 7th player, just for the amount of offensive zone penalties he's taken.
Oh my God. There's Oliver Wahlstrom. Can he win it? You have to be on the team.
Oliver Wahlstrom's the 7th player award because he scored a goal once when he was 8.
What's the box guy says? What is the award called for the least productive for what was expected? That would be a tough one. That would be a tough one. There's several candidates.
Yeah.
Charlie Coyle, to me, Charlie Coyle would get that award.
The least productive. We should do like what is it? Superlatives?
Superlatives, yeah. We should do it at the end of the year.
Yeah, we should do superlatives at the end of the year.
Like the
yearbook.
Most likely to fall down on his own. Charlie Coyle did that 3 times tonight.
Yeah, most likely to get a splinter in his hand from handling the puck. Johnny beat you.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. Most likely to take an offensive zone penalty. Oliver Wahlstrom.
Max Jones. There's a lot of candidates for that one.
I wonder where they are in the league in offensive zone penalties this year. The healthy scratch award.
They committed the most penalties in the whole league, so they're probably towards the top.
Probably are.
You have 2 guys in the top 5, right?
Yeah.
Because Zadorov leads the league in penalty minutes, right?
Yeah, he does. I think he still does, doesn't he? Yeah. Boy, that tonight, that was something. That was a microcosm of everything when his stick just shatters. He's trying to go across the goaltender.
Yeah.
Puck just lays there. And Blake, was it Blake? Blake who the entire
Jarvis.
Was it Blake who scored? Oh, it was Jarvis. But Blake had a couple opportunities there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, my God. That was just a microcosm of everything that goes wrong. I mean, look at the goals tonight they gave up.
I know.
Off an ass, off a fucking broken stick. Like, just Jesus. Like tonight was and there was the night tonight that they really deserved to win. Like
they did. You saw Zadorov. They showed Zadorov on the bench after the play, and he was basically like just shaking his head and laughing. Like, what else can you do? It's like,
what can you do?
Fucking Christ!
Yeah, stick explodes at that point.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing about that. You mentioned the body language type of thing. Matt Poitras, he had that penalty, which he thought. I think he thought Aho dived on the penalty, and then he went to the bench. And it was a couple of times tonight where they showed him on the bench, just kind of shaking his head and rolling his eyes, and so you can see where he's having a hard time. I think
he's frustrated.
But again, when he looked his best was with Pastrnak offensively. Like he looked his best. So if that doesn't tell you that you can't throw him out there with a guy, you've been playing him largely with 2 guys who aren't in the team anymore.
Yeah,
Razzo and Frederick.
Sure,
like that's who you put him with.
Or Kepke.
So if you put him with Kepke and Tufty. What do you think's going to happen?
I mean, I know what's going to happen and you know what's going to happen, but I don't think the front office knows what's going to happen.
There's 18 games left. You aren't going to the playoffs. You're trading probably your captain. Why don't you just play him with Pastrnak and fucking Geeky for the last 18 games? Just play that line together. And by God, if you have some chemistry with the 3 of them, then that's at least something going into the offseason you have to look forward to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is your opportunity. There's nothing to lose.
Sure. I mean, I would certainly entertain that. I mean, I don't think Zacha's really done anything to get kicked off of that line, and he's probably the defensively responsible one on that line.
Yeah,
but I would be open to putting Poitras there, even if it's just to give the guy some confidence.
Yes, right.
You know, and see if you can get his game going in the right direction going into the off season, and give him some positive vibes to use to work out over the summer.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Zach Case mentions Poitras and juniors. Like last year, they had really no choice but to keep him and give him that time because they had nothing there. Like they, and he actually performed okay and produced a little bit beginning of the year. But that was a decision they had to make with juniors or couldn't go to the HL.
Yeah.
So it was juniors or NHL,
Mhm.
and they really needed him at that point.
Yeah.
So, and he went past the 9-game, whatever it is, threshold, and then here we are. But I thought it was really good to bring him down to AHL. Like that's when he was his most confident, was when he gained that. Maybe you got to do that again. And I think he'll play in the playoffs. So he has a paper transaction that might happen, or just a complete transaction is that he might go down tomorrow, so he's eligible to play in the playoffs because that playoff will start after they're done. So it'll give him extra time. I mean, I think he should play in that playoff.
Oh, he absolutely should.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see that transaction tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Lauko will get the time with Pasta.
He's a playmaker. He's a playmaking. Playmaking center, and you can't give him two guys that don't shoot. That's why he plays well with Pastrnak and Geeky, because both those guys can shoot the puck.
Yeah.
So he needs to play with good players. You can't put him out there with a couple of scrubs who can't shoot and expect good things to happen.
Tufte has 0 shots in 7 games and 2 shots in 30 games for his career. Wow.
At the NHL level,
they had to go get him though. This
I mean, you got to go get him. He's tall.
Go get him. Y2 Jones tonight's sip is Pepto Bismol. This team gives me heartburn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. This team is just. I'm just interested to see what happens in the offseason because I don't know who would come here. Like that's people just say, well, you got to sign two really good players. Well, those people have to come here too.
You're going to have to overpay them.
You're going to have to overpay them. Like you just overpaid the last 2 guys that you have pretty bad contracts on. Zadorov's not as bad as a contract as Elias Lindholm, which is a bad one. So now you have to overpay two more guys.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that was they targeted the wrong guy and paid him the wrong amount of money.
Right. They targeted a guy who they wanted to be a first-line center, had to pay him that money.
Yeah, they wanted him to be, but he wasn't. And
he's not.
And hasn't been for a long time.
And you said that a million times.
That's what the fucking problem is.
Yeah.
So, like, I think they may, if Marner doesn't re-sign, I think he will, but if he doesn't re-sign with Toronto,
throw the bag at that guy.
Throw the bag at him, because that's the guy that I think might come here just to fucking jam it up Toronto's ass.
They might, yeah.
And he could play them, 4 times a year and stick it to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a guy that you might be able to get, but you're going to have to pay him a lot.
A lot, 15, 16 million a year.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I would be fine with that, because that's a good player. That's a guy who's, 3rd in the league in assists or whatever it is. Like, he's a talented player, and I think they need obviously more of those.
Now, do you think not trading core guys like Carlo, Coyle, whoever the hell, you think that's any sign that Don Sweeney's job might be in jeopardy at the end of the year? Like not allowing him to make those types of bold moves. I mean, Marchand's a bold move, but you're kind of cornered with it. Like
you are.
That's something ownership would okay, because if you're not going to re-sign him, you can get some assets in replace. But if you don't really do much else than that, then is that a sign that maybe he hasn't have? Now, Ty Anderson says there's nothing to indicate that he's not completely empowered, which is probably true. And he's probably just gun shy, which he always is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that maybe I just wonder how much. I just wonder about him.
I think that would be negligence on the part of ownership if they were not allowing him to make moves, because you're talking about guys who aren't going to be here
Sure.
And it's a seller's market, like you said. So
Yeah.
you can get good assets in return to help with the rebuild for whoever the next guy is. And if they're stopping him from doing it because they don't think he's going to be the next guy, they need to fire him now. Put another guy in charge and let that guy make the moves then.
Sure.
If that's what they're fucking afraid of,
Right.
put somebody in there and let that person do it.
Right.
Because it might not be a seller's market in the off season. It might not be a seller's market next trade deadline. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, usually it is, but now's the time. Right while the iron's hot. Like, don't miss out on an opportunity to better your team for the future just because you're afraid of giving Don Sweeney the ability to make a trade or two. Like, and if you don't want him to do it, fire the guy and have somebody else do it. Like, you need to get while the getting's good here.
Yeah.
Like,
to me,
don't waste your chance.
To me, they're in a position now with no prospect pool. Like the worst it's been, probably. Like it was bad. Now it's really bad. So then your next prospects are like 3 years away, if there's any there at all.
Yeah.
So this is a way for you to kind of rebuild that thing. And to me, you have to trade some of these assets because, like you said, now it's not a seller's market. Or now some guys walk or some guys regress or whatever it is, get hurt, then you don't have like right now you have a chance at least to replenish something there to get a couple of steps forward. You know what I mean? And if they don't do that, then they're just hamstringing themselves again. Like
you
this
have
is such a layup.
You really do. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Fox Guy says, remember Marner's line mates telling him to shut the fuck up and stop whining last year in the playoffs against the Peas? Nylander and him had a thing.
Yeah.
For sure. They did. And they have to think about that because they gave Nylander and Matthews make big money and now him making big money. And Tavares, by all indications, they might be bringing him back, I heard. So I don't know. I mean, you can't bring all those guys back.
No,
like, that's a lot of dough.
Look, it's going to come down to Tavares or Marner, in my opinion. It's going to be one or the other, not both. They'll bring one of those guys back and let the other one walk. To me, if it was me, I would probably let Tavares walk because he's older.
Sure.
But Marner might be looking for more money. Tavares might be willing to take a discount. Tavares is a center. Marner's not a center. So there's some, different things in play there. But to me, it's really, pretty a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
You keep Marner.
I keep Marner, but you also have Nyes as a winger.
Yeah.
Who could step in there. He's not going to be Marner probably, but he's a good player. He's a young guy. So maybe you think you have some depth on the wings and you always go for the center, which is a classic. I mean, look at the Bruins.
Yeah.
The center matters a little bit more than everybody else. So maybe you do keep Tavares again. That's a real tough one in Toronto. And of course, how they do this season in the postseason. Would be a big factor.
I've also heard them kicking the tires on Rantanen too now.
Right.
Because
as a rental type of guy
has said that he's not willing to make the decision before the trade deadline. So Carolina's either going to have to trade him or they're going to have to let it ride and either hope to re-sign him or lose him for nothing. Which
so you give up Natchez and producer Connor with his Carolina Hurricanes hard on.
Yeah,
that's not a good look. I mean, all that stuff you say about Carolina.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Yeah, but is it a better look to let him walk away for nothing?
No, that's what I'm saying. That would not be a good look, is to let him walk away for nothing. Giving up Natchez and letting him walk 3 months later is pretty bad.
Yeah, so I feel like they'll have to trade him.
They will. Now, is that a guy that what the hell could you trade for him?
No, you'd be.
That would have to be Marchand, and they're hoping they can re-sign Marchand or something like that. Right. That's where it kind of starts.
Yeah, it would be Marchand and probably more in order to get.
More. Sure, it would be more.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe clubs are going to know that they're in a tough spot now with Rantanen.
Yeah.
So
what are you going to get? They are in a tough spot. Yeah. They are in a tough spot. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Brazo's gone, so that 10 goals, that little blasted 10 goals and then did nothing since.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this one time. I told you so. Like the dude is just an ECHL, AHL, borderliner, whatever the fuck. Like, stop falling in love with your players.
Look, you might have to eat those words. I'm not saying he's going to go to Minnesota and light the world on fire.
Yeah,
but
who's he going to play with in Minnesota? He's not going to play with Boldy and Kaprizov coming back this year. I think he is.
They might be in time for the playoffs type of thing.
Yeah. So Boldy and Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek.
Eriksson Ek hurt right now too. They're dealing with some injuries.
They are.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who he plays with.
Yeah.
I don't know who he plays with.
I have to look at the line combos for the Wild.
Might have to watch that game. Justin Brazeau's debut.
Oh my fucking Christ. Lauko. So on the fourth line now, before the trade, it was Lauko, Devon Shore, and Trennan. That's your fourth line. Your third line is Marcus Foligno, Hartman, and Hinostroza, which is probably going to remain. I would say Matt Zuccarello's in the second line with Gaudreau and Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
Nyquist. Oh, they pick up Nyquist. He's on the top line with Rossi and Boldy right now.
Yeah,
so, Eriksson and Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov come back. So he's going to be on a fourth line with like Devon Shore and Yakov Trennan.
Probably.
Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. I'm interested to see if he gets in the lineup.
Yeah. He might not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they'd trade for him if they didn't think he was going to be in the lineup. Maybe he's going to be, fourth line guy and he'll get like some power play 2 time at the net front.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll have to look.
I mean, what does he have? He has like 6 fucking power play goals.
He does. When he parks his ass in front of the net, when he doesn't have to skate, he's a pretty good hockey player.
Sure.
But skating's a part of it.
It kind of is.
It's kind of a major part of it.
It is a pretty big
But
part.
if you can enter the zone and you can get him in front of the net, then I mean that's great. That's really, really good. I'm looking up the power play for the Minnesota Wild and see if that's an indicator of things to come here. Power play percentage. Let's see. So Minnesota is 22nd. Yeah, so they're down there. So maybe that was a little. Let's get a little flyer on a guy.
He has 4 power play goals and 1 power play assist, 5 power play points this year.
Okay, so maybe that's something where they can see have Brazzers out there with Boldy and fucking Kaprizov.
Sure.
Don't forget Jordan Osterley is also gone. Yes, he was claimed on waivers by the Nashville Predators. Lost 2 defensemen this year off waivers, Regula and Osterley.
Yeah.
None mean a damn, but they lost 2 of those guys. They
Didn't Osterley score against Nashville?
Who's that?
Didn't he just score against Nashville, Osterley?
He did. Yeah. He scored his first career goal against Nashville, and they were like, fuck, this guy's great. Didn't realize he was 32 and has no future in the league. But they took him. They claimed him like, we got to get that guy. So they stopped scoring against us.
Yeah.
Play as the Bruins again. I love hearing the commentators say if they want to make the playoffs, does anyone actually think we have a wild card chance? Dan Maynard. No, I think it's down to like 5% or something. It's way down now.
5.4%.
5.4. That's zero, essentially.
Zero. I said it the other night. Like it was at 12 and change, and then they lost, and then went to 10 and they lost, and then went to 7 and lost, and 5 and lost. Like to me, it's already zero. They're not making it.
Zero.
There's too many teams to jump over. They're 7th place in the fucking Atlantic Division. There's too many teams to jump over, and they've played more games than the teams in front of them.
They suck. I mean, they suck and blow.
They're gonna have to like win out.
And here's the thing. And you might not have Marchand either.
No. And you don't have Marchand now. You don't have Hampus Lindholm. You don't have McAvoy. You're
not making it.
Like 3 of your 4 best players are not playing right now.
No.
Or we'll throw Geeky in there. So
you might win 6 out of these 18 games. You might.
You have 11 road games in March? You suck on the road.
Yeah.
You can't win on the road.
You don't win on the road. Tonight was their best road game, I thought, in a while.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back.
But they lost.
It was up there. And they lost. They lost it. Because they can't score.
No.
Because they don't have anybody else but Morgan Geeky and David Pastrnak to drive any offense at all.
Correct.
And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing right now. Is that's all the offense. We watch other guys out there. You just know nothing's going to happen. You just know it's just not going to happen. Brickley continuing to say points are at a premium in critical juncture, as if anything matters at this point. It's just, I mean, he's trying to keep you watching.
He's trying his best to find positives.
Yeah,
because he has to be there every night and talk about it every night.
He does.
Just like us, but you know,
just like us. But we don't find positives. We just hammer the negatives. So
we don't work for Nesson, so we can get away with saying this shit. But if we were working for Nesson and the Bruins were paying our salary, like we wouldn't be.
This would be a podcast.
Yeah, they would have shut us down long ago.
A long time ago. We'll never get anything from the Bruins. But we're honest. And
they might call you a cup of Joe.
And I'll tell you what, damn it, I think that we're fair. I think we're fair. We're largely fair. We get a little explosive, but we're largely if they're good, if something good happens, we bring it out. Like we are fair. You know,
I would say you are more fair than I am.
Yes, I think that's true.
And I would say that I tend to go to the like he sucks or fuck this guy.
Yeah, you go the
more than I should do.
Right. You do. But you're the true fan. You're the
it's not really about the people. It's just about how they're playing. And that doesn't come across when I say this guy sucks. Because that's not what I mean. I mean his play sucks. That's not what I say.
They're all good players. I mean, they're in the NHL.
I mean, right. Yeah.
But his play sucks. Like Charlie Coyle, his play sucks right now.
Would it be entertaining though if I was just like, well, you know, John Beecher's just not playing very well right now?
No, that would be a snooze fest.
Yeah.
No, you got to come out and say it.
Yeah. You have to say with a little bit of color. There has to be a little bit of
a little bit of zhuzh.
Yeah, a little passion, little, you know, whatever. Something to get the people to keep tuning in.
Yeah, you gotta keep them tuned in. Adrienne, way back when, was trying to watch the game, blacked out in North Carolina. So looks like she couldn't watch the game back in the Carolinas. Yeah, blacked out. She said, what did it say? Game is blacked out in North Carolina. Can't watch it. I'm so glad I realized that.
Is it because it's like wasn't a sellout at the stadium?
I don't know. Do they do that in the NHL? Because they do it in the NFL. I don't think they do that in the NHL.
I don't know.
I don't know why it wouldn't be. Why would it be blacked out? Isn't it on Fox Sports Network, Sun, whatever it is?
It's not.
I know FanDuel Sports Network.
FanDuel Sports South. I think is
Sports South. That's what it is. Yeah. Should be on.
I don't know if you have that, Adrian, but I think that's probably what the game should have been on.
I would think so.
And
check the Inside the Rink game preview. You get all the TV and radio.
Yeah, there you go.
Information on the game previews.
Put that information right.
We do put that in there.
We're good like that.
Yeah, we are. Jack Edwards knew when to bow out, says Sean Michael.
Yes, he did.
He cut bait. Hey, how about Dale? So Sofia Jurcevic is back.
Yes, I wanted to bring this up tonight.
You threw that out there in the tweet. Got a lot of good reviews there, and I'm watching Dale Arnold tonight. I'm just like, Dale, you know, trying to be funny and trying to. I mean, was that Brian Boyle on? Who was that on the?
Brian Boyle.
Is it Boyle? Is it Boyle? Yeah, but Jesus, like Dale, like I just don't do Dale Arnold well. I just never have, and he's a Maine guy. Like I should, but he just has this low key kind of. I think I'm funny arrogance to him that I just don't love.
I've never been a big Dale Arnold guy, I've heard stories about him.
Not being great
through TV and radio about him kind of being an ass. So that's kind of just made it worse. Like it made me like, well, if I don't already like him and he's coming across as kind of an ass to people, which I've heard, then you know that sealed the deal for me. Like I'm not going to go out of my way to find reasons to like the guy now. So let's bring Sophia back, and she said she'll be back on air soon. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later for her.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
is Dale Arnold the great value William Shatner, or is that just me?
Yeah, he's like, you got a little bit of William, like that, you know, talking with a smirk on, like just kind of that whole thing. Shatner, I
all
could get
day.
behind. I feel like Shatner I'd have a couple of beers with. I
Sure.
feel like, Dale Arnold's drinking White Zen, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just not there. Lauko is back, Rob Spector.
Yep.
Jakob Lauko and
Grapes.
some guy with cute Nutsadov from Minnesota Wild for Justin Brazeau.
Cute Nutsadov.
Cute Nutsadov. Yes, 22-year-old Russian forward. And Justin Brazeau on his way to Minnesota Wild for a playoff stretch.
Cute Nutsadov sounds like a made-up name that you would use in like your NHL thing, trying to get away with, like,
just trying to get away with vulgar shit.
Saying a swear without saying a swear.
Yeah. The Bruins making the playoffs reminds me of the adage about what happens when a dog chases a car but doesn't know what to do with it once he catches it. Yeah, that's true too. If they made the playoffs by some grace of God, boy, they'd get shit stomped.
Oh, they would.
That wouldn't be good at all. Fox guy, someone on one of the local stations said Jack would smoke weed constantly and smoke would billow from out under the hotel doors. Well, can't blame the guy. It's legal, right?
Yeah, I mean,
don't be a fucking Grinch.
If you had
honestly,
if you had to watch this team all the time, you'd smoke weed too.
I'd be smoking all sorts of stuff.
You didn't drink,
lace the
smoking weed. Yeah.
Oh my God. What are the chances this turns into a 3 to 5 rebuild instead of a retool? It's a good It's a good chance, Samuel, and it's a good question because again, I'm not sure what the plan is, and no one said. Don Sweeney has not come out with like the plan. In fact, he's rode the fence so hard that his anus hurts. Like, what are they doing? Which way are they going? Like now, it was 2 paths, which now they're selling guys off. I guess Frederick, they're not going to continue on with Brazeau. They're not going to continue. But those were the two. Like, if you asked me, 6 weeks ago, who are the 2 guys? Pick 2 guys. I'd be like Frederick and Brazeau, probably those 2 guys. So they've done what we thought they'd do so far.
Yes,
the safe, easy, done what they thought they'd do.
Yeah, guys around the fringe.
Yeah, around the fringe,
around
the rim. Yeah.
Talk to me when they make a legitimate big hockey
shrewd move, like a hockey trade.
That's a trade that they may lose. A trade
they may lose.
Yeah,
right.
Like Marchand for Quentin Byfield and whatever in a first, and Byfield doesn't work out. So you may lose that trade, but you're taking a shot at a center with upside. That's whatever. So that's something I would do because centers don't grow on trees, and if you can get a guy who is the number 2 overall pick, then you take that chance.
Well, here's the other question. Like, now what's the philosophy? Like, you tried the size thing.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
Most of the people couldn't skate.
No.
So now, and you didn't make the playoffs. So what's the identity of the team going forward, and what are you trying to do? And who's the coach of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of questions you can talk about with the direction of the team and how they're going to handle the whole thing. And part of the problem is now they have a roster that's kind of jumbled that never really fit together in the first place. Right. You have a bunch of pass first guys. You have like 2 guys on the team willing to shoot the puck.
Yeah.
So
and they score.
Yeah, and they score. Right. They're playing together. So you got to get some other guys willing to shoot the puck. That's kind of why we both said that they should have gone after Gensel last year instead of a guy like Lindholm, because you need guys that are willing to shoot the puck and could score. Yeah. They have plenty of guys willing to pass. Not a lot of guys willing to shoot. So they have a jumbled roster that you don't really know what style they can be. And if they're going to turn it over and they're going to play a certain way, you're probably going to have to see a lot more guys move out and move in because you probably have guys here who don't fit that style. So the guy that was, I apologize, I forget who the comment was just from. Right there, Samuel.
Samuel.
About a 3 to 5 year rebuild. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about changing your style of play to fit a new roster or a new coach, you're talking about bringing a whole new set of guys in, a whole new group of guys in.
Right. Isn't that what it has to be right now?
That's going to take some time.
You're past the retool thing because you didn't make shrewd moves in the past.
Sure.
Now you're up against it. Now it kind of has to be 3 to 5 years. Like now, there's kind of no way around it. Now.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you make like a couple of really bold moves.
Yeah, I think if you make a couple of bold moves, I think you can still be Washington because you still have some really good pieces in place with, Pastrnak, McAvoy, Swayman. Like you still have some really good pieces. Yeah. And Hampus Lindholm, Geeky if you re-sign him. So there's some pieces there that if you do some smart things and you use your cap money this offseason wisely instead of stupidly, then you should be a playoff team. And then at that, next year's deadline, you can add. And then maybe you win around. And then, you go on from there. The cap goes up. Maybe you can get another good player in the offseason and so forth. So I feel like you could still do this thing in like a year or a year and a half and be right there. But you have to be smart with it. And they haven't been smart with it in the past.
No, and they're not willing to be bold with it.
And not willing to be bold. So it doesn't really give you any indication that they're going to do the right things to get there. I think it's possible, but I think it's unlikely.
And Cab just stole my thought. Is the league is too bad for a 3 to 5 year rebuild, and all that has happened this year, you still, if you won 5 in a row this week, you'll probably be in a playoff spot.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have a Boston Bruins trade update for you.
Okay.
The Justin Brazeau trade gets thicker.
Ooh.
It is Justin Brazeau to the Wild in exchange for Nutstanov, Lauko, and a 2026 6th-round pick.
Okay.
So they also get the draft pick along with it.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to lean on this, that the Bruins took on an extra $1 million, even though it was buried in the AHL, and they took on the extra player contract. So I assume that's why you're seeing a 6th-round pick.
That's why the sweeter deal. Okay.
I think the Bruins at the time going into the deadline had 44 of the 50 contract spots filled, so they have some spots open to be able to do something like that.
They do.
The fact that they used it on nice nuts off and got
Lauko, a guy that
Lauko, I don't love it, but at the same time, you got assets back for Brazeau. So
I mean, I would imagine they don't bring Lauko back again, do they? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They don't either. So I can't keep guessing. But I don't know. I mean, again, so okay, let's say you bring Lauko and Nutsanov back. Like
we get
some phonetic.
Can we just call him like what's can
Nutty.
We just call him like
Koozie? Nutty?
Can we call him Koozie? Nutty?
Koozie. Is he nutty? Is it what? How do you start the word?
Isn't it Nutstidov?
Is it Koozie? Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Koozie. Can we call him Koozie or Nutty?
Koozie.
One of those.
Call him Koozie. Yeah, Nutty. Let's call him Nutty because this is what this show should be. It shouldn't be Koozie. It should be Nutty. Although I can drink something out of a Koozie right now because this team fucking blows. When I was in the DR,
we're already an hour and 20 minutes into this thing. I really
this is
gotta be
the longest one of the year. I'll tell you what. When I was in the DR this week, I didn't think about the Bruins one time. It's like maybe one time I flipped this on like at the beach, whatever, at the pool or whatever. I kind of flipped this on. No, I was I was drinking drinks at the bar.
Sure.
And I kind of flipped this thing on and watched it for a bit. But other than that, like
I
didn't think about the Bruins at all.
You supported us. You weren't supporting the Bruins.
You were supporting you guys.
Supporting yourself in the show. Which is when I was down in Florida, I didn't think about the Bruins at all. We watched a little bit of the Four Nations, but other than that, I didn't think about hockey once. And it was wonderful because this team makes me want to throw things at the TV.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. All the people have stayed on here. We still have like quite a few hundred people here. Tell me, this is going to be a 6 month off season.
Yeah,
because you're not going to play till the first week in October. Real hockey.
Correct.
So you're going to go almost 6 months without real hockey here for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to – I mean, that's going to
be relying on us for their hockey news. That's what they're going to be doing.
Right.
They're going to be relying on us to entertain them in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I was changing my own diaper probably. Actually, we were in a family resort. There's a gazillion kids.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the only diaper I would be changing is my own after having too many espresso martinis.
Yeah.
odds on. I just had a good comment here. Odds on. Where the hell is it? Odds on Don Sweeney having flop sweat and dry throat during the 4 p.m. presser. Oh my God! Can we forecast some of the quotes he'll say? Well, what we're trying to do is what's right for our hockey club.
Connor is going to give us another Sweens. After the trade deadline.
Yeah, that went over pretty well. I actually missed like 3 of those. That's a pretty good game. Is it Sweens? Yeah. Let's see. Cut your nuts off. Yeah, that's a much better pronunciation. C2 Paint. Let's see. Florida artist Bungalow is putting a roof on the house. Nice. In the off season. You got 6 months to do it. Can I interest you in motorsport? Says Rob Spector. Not a big motor. I mean, I drive my car. That's about the extent of my motorsport. I motorboat.
I was anti-motorsports. I'm not even going to say I was like indifferent to it. I was anti-motorsports.
I was anti. I was 100. With that NASCAR car craze that died off like a bad fucking.
No, but you didn't let me finish. So I started watching that F1 documentary on Netflix. Yeah. Now I'm in.
Really?
F1. I tell you what, F1 is like, it's like a soap opera with all the all the teams fighting with each other and everything, and then the crashes and all that shit.
Reality car racing.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's reality TV with some fucking high speed racing. And look, I like F1 better because it's actually turns and there's some strategery, whereas NASCAR is just a circle. Yeah. This is actually multiple turns and stuff that you have to do, and there's all kinds of other stuff. But the drama behind the scenes is pretty entertaining, actually.
Yeah, Rob Spector wants to start an F1 podcast with Smitty. Go ahead. Yeah, the F1 podcast. We're gonna call that
FU
podcast. FU F1.
Yeah.
There's cycling all summer, says Adrienne. Into the cycling.
Yeah,
I'm not a big cycling guy. I think my legs are too short.
Yeah,
like I get that crotch rot, like that. It really hurts in the.
You get the chafing.
Loins.
You get the chafing in the groin.
I get the loins and it's soreness.
Yeah, you got to put the seat down a little lower.
Yeah,
you can reach the pedals.
I can't get one of those Schwinns. I can't get a Schwinn. It's too high, too tall.
Yeah.
Oh Christ!
It's what you do. We'll have Connor buy a motorcycle with one of those sidecars, and he can just drive you around.
Okay. A new DTS season comes out tomorrow, says Christy. What's DTS? Down to.
I don't know what that is.
DTS.
We're probably showing our age right here.
Yeah, I don't know. A new DTS. Is it racing related? I don't know. What do you think Bruins finish at the end overall? I'm going to say they're going to be in the 7th spot.
Yeah, I was going to say 7th or 8th. So yeah, I'll say 8th.
Top 10, about bottom 10, whatever, however you like to look at it. Yeah. What do they get? Do they still chase center?
Oh, Drive to Survive, the F1 show. See, I watch it and I didn't even know what she was talking about.
I didn't even know what the show's called. The new season starts tomorrow. Boom, comes out tomorrow. That's what Smitty's going to be doing.
Yeah.
This weekend.
My wife hates it. Oh my God.
I bet she does. I bet she hates it
she hates it like poison.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because the engine noises are so loud. So we'll watch it and it's like she's just like fuck this. She hates it. Oh my God, she hates it.
Oh my God, I hate it too.
She hates it with a passion.
What is that? Dumb and Dumber. What's the worst sound in the world? Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh, she hates it with a passion. Oh my God, she hates it.
Adrian says she's not cycling. She's gonna be watching the cycling. Okay, well that's better.
What Tour de France is on?
Cycling is another thing I can't. Here's this question. I used to watch individual sports a lot more when I was younger. Golf, tennis.
Yeah,
tennis I used to watch a lot of. All those. I can say I loved the Wimbledon and all that. I don't watch individual sports anymore.
No.
I don't.
No, I used to watch. I used to watch it. Well, back then, like tennis had some personality.
It did.
And
It did.
like,
Everybody was
you can't-
different. Golf
you
too.
can't-
Golf was the same.
Yeah, you can't have personality now in
No, you
sports.
can't. Everybody's the same.
Everything's held against you, or you're an
Yeah.
asshole, or whatever. It's like the social media aspect of it all. Is
Yeah.
like you just can't do it or say anything as a sports figure anymore without
can't.
it being controversial in some way.
Jesus. Yeah.
So leave it to us. We'll say that.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, not enough people watch this program. They're gonna start doing that to us.
But yeah, the tennis and the I'd watch Tiger Woods back in the day. That was appointment TV, but like nobody now. I could care less about golf.
Woods. Yeah, definitely. And I watched back in that day, back where everybody was
on McAvoy and Jimmy Connors and Andre Agassi, and,
Agassi,
Pete Sampras,
a lot of flash, a lot of flair.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean Boris Becker, all those guys. A lot of flair, a lot of that. If the Bruins win the lottery, how many spots can they move down to? Says Robert Giuliano. They can get to 1.
Yeah,
I think at 3% right now was where they were when they were 12. I think it was, but I think now that they're 10, it's less than 10%.
I think you can only lose 2 spots. I think, is that right?
2 spots. I think you can go 2. Yeah,
you can fall 2 down. So if you have if you had the best odds, the worst you can do is 3rd. I think.
Right. Yeah. That's a good question, Robert. No creativity anymore, even in hockey, says Cab, and that's probably partly true too.
Yeah.
Just not like you get. You're right. You get criticized if you have too much flair. You're a showboat. You're selfish. Look at me. The draft lottery, says Michigan Mike. Yes, the draft lottery is going to be something we're going to pay attention to this year for the first time.
We're going to covering the hell out of that. I'm trying to send us out there, cover it in person.
Where is the draft lottery? Do you know?
LA, I believe.
Is it in LA?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stay with your brother and we'll get out there.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Why not? Go out to LA, get to the draft lottery.
Yeah.
I'd do it. When's that?
It's right around my birthday.
Oh, is it June? Late June?
Late June, I think.
This is the first decentralized draft.
Oh,
draft.
So
none of the teams will be there.
Teams won't be there, but the players will be there, and they'll still be the stage and all the event.
Yeah, they'll still be the event. Yeah. We went to the draft in '97, the Thornton Samsonov, when it was at the Garden, the Fleet Center.
Yeah,
yeah, we were there for that 1st and 8th, Thornton and Samsonov.
Yeah,
that was, and then of course, Thornton was gone, and and they draft Sagan and he was gone. They draft Hamilton and he was gone. So here's the thing: now you've got to have probably a top. Let's say you have a top 8 pick, which you haven't had since Dougie, right? So you're looking at
Zach Hamill.
So you don't have a great track record of keeping those guys.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So we're all
Jordan
hyped about Jordan Caron. We're all hyped about it, but at the end of the day, they're either suck or you have to trade them way early before their prime. So that's not a great track record.
Well, look, they shouldn't have traded Thornton. They shouldn't have traded Sagan. No. Hamilton was an unusual circumstance because he's his family's all fucked up or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, and I don't hold that against them.
No, I don't.
They had to.
They kind of had to do that. Then Kessel too, that one was
that's another one
out of their control a little bit.
Right.
But they didn't need to trade those guys. They shouldn't have. They probably should have gone a different way with both of those guys and tried to figure out a way to keep them here and get rid of other people. But the returns they got for both of those were horrendous.
Yeah, but at that case, you're going to lose that trade.
Sure.
No matter what you do.
Yeah.
But Jesus, that was bad. That was bad. The Bork one, all of them. I mean, all those, when they traded big name players.
Yeah.
And get 25 cents on the dollar. Louis Erickson.
Right.
If Sweens, Neely, Sacco, and Kelly, etc., get shown the door, what role does Chara step into, says Fox Guys? 67.
I don't know if he has enough experience to be given like the GM job.
No, he doesn't. Right.
So I think he's probably going to be in a similar role. I would think they would, whoever was named the new GM or team president or whoever it is, I would assume that they would want a guy like Chara around. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Some sort of consultant.
Maybe he's a consultant. Maybe he is an assistant coach. Maybe he coaches defense. You know, I could see that happening. And he, you know, then he works his way in and up to a head coach or whatever. Or maybe he's an assistant to the general manager or something like that, where he kind of gets his feet wet there, depending on what kind of role he wants to have, whether it's on ice or more in the front office.
Sure.
You know, they would be dumb to kind of send him to the curb when, you know, he has all this experience and knowledge and firsthand knowledge of the culture they built there and the team. And
well, that would be the draw for me with him.
And when they were successful, you know, that would be a guy that you would want to keep around. I think
I would think so too.
Yeah.
But I always have this caveat about just because they're a great player doesn't mean they're going to be a good coach or a GM or I mean, you know, bring Bergeron back, bring Chara back. Yeah, I get that. And there's probably a role for those guys because of what you said. I mean, they bring a lot to the table. But is it in those big roles? And the other thing is, do they want it?
Yeah.
These guys make a good amount of money. They don't want the grind. This is just a different kind of grind. I mean, Bergeron wanted to be with his kids. You want to coach a team and be on the road just like he was a player?
No,
like
I don't think he does. I think he likes doing what he's doing now. He does the Nesson ultra view or different view or whatever the hell they call it. Yeah. Like he does that like once a month or whatever it is, or once every couple of weeks. He gets to hang out with his buddies and watch the Bruins game with his friends.
Shoot the shit, get a little bit of money,
and he gets paid for it. Like that's like if I was him, that's perfect. Like
that's what I'd want to do.
I would do.
Yeah.
You know, if Nesson wanted to pay me, you know, some money to watch the game with you, and we'd just go into the set.
It would never happen, but a much better unobstructed view would be us watching the game, talking about it. I mean, you'd have to put it on Netflix or something.
I was going to say it couldn't be on Nesson.
No, it can't be on Nesson.
It couldn't be on Nesson.
No. And it wouldn't be as colorful if they put us on Nesson. I don't want to be on Nesson.
No, I don't want to be.
I want to be right here with no FCC.
Nesson's program is awful.
And they just fired the editorial staff and a bunch of people go today.
Yeah, I mean they just. I don't know. It's a poorly run thing.
From everything to production to all of it. It's just it's
programming
crazy.
The amount of
programming
charge you for the thing.
Oh my God, the talent they have in. They don't pay anybody. Everybody who's anybody goes somewhere else and makes a much better career for themselves.
Yeah,
like it's just crazy.
It's like where you start. It's kind of
where
weird.
You start. It's a stepping stone job, and there's a dozen I can name on the top of my head. Red Sox and Bruins, who have gone on to bigger, better things.
Absolutely,
and they keep bringing in these people.
Mm-hmm.
A mate of mine suggested Chara could be coaching McAvoy to move up to being captain. Thoughts on that? Says Dan Maynard. Like McAvoy is going to be the captain if Marchand goes. I don't think there's any way around it. I mean, it's going to be McAvoy. And then we'll really see what kind of leader and captain McAvoy is. You know, I still am of the ilk of, captains are kind of overrated, and especially in professional sports, a bunch of men, whatever. It's more the culture that's created that Chara did and Bergeron did. Like rookies weren't hazed and everybody's on the same level. And there's a level of respect for all your teammates and all of that. And it seemed to work for however many years, 16, 18, whatever, how many years it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of gone by the wayside. Now losing accentuates a lot of that negativity too. I mean, those teams won. Yeah. So now that you're losing, that team never really lost badly. So there's that thing too. Winning cures a lot. So that would help the culture if they won some games.
Yeah.
Chara and Bergeron replacing Neely and Sweeney. I don't think you're going to see that. I don't think Neely's leaving I think Neely's the new Harry Sinden. I think he's going to be there until he decides not to do it anymore. Because that's typically what they do. I think the GM, I think Sweeney would be gone eventually, but I don't think Neely will be.
I agree.
I want to still hang on that. Michael Johnson says, I'm behind watching, but Beecher would never be most likely to get a sliver because his hands are made of stone. Yes, hands of stone, John Beecher. It's been like that since he was 13 years old. Look at his friggin' resume. Look at his stats.
We did. We looked back and we tried to find a season where
he didn't have 10 goals, right? In a year?
We looked back through all his college, his time with the national development team,
right?
His time in Providence. We looked back. He has never had a 10-goal season at any level.
Never.
At any level. And he was a first-round pick.
Yeah, Michigan Mike says, if you are first in draft, you can only drop 2 spaces. But if you are 7th, you can move up to first. Yes, you can. Recchi helped build the culture too, says Zach Case.
100%. He was a big part of
getting them to believe that they can win.
Part of the reason why that team that particular year won a bunch of Game 7s.
Yeah.
The rest of the group without Mark Recchi, not so much success.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. Like the one time in a lifetime where they won the cup, and they won those Game 7s and showed that kind of resilience. Mark Recchi was like the one common denominator. Like he was the guy. Like since then, even the Bergerons and the Charas, those teams have folded and collapsed.
Yep.
So Recchi, that's a great point. Like
Recchi was kind of a mentor to Chara and Bergeron.
Yeah, he was.
Like during that time,
as far as the winning the cup,
as far as winning, and as far as how they should approach Game 7s, because he had won cups before. So yeah,
very
I think
interesting point.
It was a big part of the reason why that team was successful. 100%.
Interesting point. Yeah. Bees are throwing out a minor league lineup out there tonight. And Brickley was promoting some kind of animated game against Florida. Yeah. I mean, I get this email from the Bruins yesterday or whatever. The fucking animated. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, come on.
I mean, I get they're trying to get kids to watch.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the way to get kids to watch. Okay, don't put the games on at fucking 9:00 at night.
Yeah,
at 8:00 at night. Those kids aren't watching the games at night. Like play more. Like they are playing more. I seem to believe they're playing more afternoon games than the weekends.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's on purpose, but it just seems maybe because we're doing this podcast in this post game. It seems like they're doing a lot of afternoon games on the weekends. Which they should do.
But I honestly think that's a TV thing. Like ABC or TNT or whoever it is has like Saturday at 3:00 for their games, and that's when they want to do them. So that's when they have them. But I agree though. Like if you want kids to watch, put the animated thing on fucking Saturday afternoon or Sunday.
Put it on Nickelodeon. Yeah, you know what I mean. Do something.
Don't put it on like 7:00 on a Friday night, like
no,
or whenever.
Just like don't put Baby Talk on, after the fucking Red Sox game, whatever the fuck that was. Small Talk, remember Small Talk? Oh my god, like Dining Playbook. I mean, you can just name Dirty Water TV, like anything Christian Fourier's on can burn in an inferno of fire. Like Jesus, oh my god, Salty Bruins fan says everyone should be okay with trading Marchand. He's just going to re-sign with the Bruins in the offseason. You think there's any chance of that? I don't. Because the numbers don't seem to match. So there's the problem.
I think it's very unlikely, but I'll say that as we've quoted Dumb and Dunner before, you're telling me there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yep.
So they're saying there's a chance. Yeah. I think there is a very, 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 very minute chance that he would re-sign here in the offseason. But I think he's going to get a taste of life with a good team, and he's going to want to stay there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Here's another question I'll throw out to you, but would another team make a trade for him for a first and a pick and a prospect or a player, whatever it is, without knowing that they could sign him to an extension?
I think that lessens the trade, and I think that might be the problem with trades offers now, is that he's probably unsure of, I'm going to sign with this team going forward. He probably wants to go to market because the Bruins are not giving him what he believes is market value. And he's probably going to bet against himself and say, I want to go to market. Unless I go to Colorado, want to play with Nathan McKinnon, whatever. But other than that, I think he probably wants to go to market to prove that he can get that kind of money, which he probably can. He probably can get 3 times 7, 21.
Yeah,
He probably can do that.
Sure.
But I think he's going to open up the market, and I think he's betting on himself to go to a contender, have a good postseason run, show he's still got it in him, and then teams offer him money in term. And I think that's what he's probably trying to do. That's the problem, is that now you're not going to get probably the value you might think you get because he's a rental. You know, he's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
To resign. So that makes it sticky. Like it's all sticky.
But if you have enough teams lined up and you're smart about it, you can play them off each other and you can still get a pretty good deal, or you should still be able to get a pretty good deal.
Right. I mean, do you think I think he probably can dictate kind of where he's going to go in this trade. So I think Colorado is probably right up there. Maybe Vegas with Cassidy, because I don't think he cares about Cassidy's style. So I think Vegas or Colorado are definitely two. You know, maybe a Minnesota or a Dallas, maybe a Winnipeg.
Sagan's there.
Sagan's there.
I don't know if you want to go to Winnipeg.
I know. I mean, I don't know.
They have a really good team, but it's like,
I don't think it's sustainable.
It's like destination nowhere. There's it's freezing fucking cold all the time. It's dark. It's fucking dreary. You know, the rink is, you know, very small. I mean, it makes for a good atmosphere, but you know, it's you know, I don't think it's modern amenities or anything like that.
Sure.
So
question from Crystal Valley: does Marchand's injury lower the return? I mean, he's had injury history. I don't know what this is. Do you know what this is? Is it shoulder? What is this injury now? What happened to him?
I think they said upper body, right?
Upper. I think it's like shoulder or in that range, maybe.
Yeah, I don't really like they're hush hush about it because you know,
I don't think it was a concussion. I think it would have to be probably shoulderish. But yeah, I mean that's a factor too.
Yeah,
is the injury. Box guy says it's Marchand to Edmonton. I heard a little bit about Edmonton, not a ton though. But Jesus, put him with McDavid or Draisaitl.
Yeah,
Jesus. I mean, put him on a power play with them.
I would do that if they want to give. I think Savoy is their best prospect.
Yeah,
I would do that thing.
I would do that. I would do Matt Savoy. All these baby Bruins fans crying their eyes out with Marchand getting traded. Time to move on, says Demon 21, and I think you're correct. I'm with you on that. Like this is your one asset you have to try to help with a retool. You do it. If you don't, like you aren't connecting on a deal. Like it's obvious. You would have had a deal done already.
Yeah.
So what is it? You're not going to come here and he's not going to come here. And you know that's going to happen. You can't let him walk. Yeah, this game is done.
We haven't talked about the game in fucking.
Oh my God, in an hour and a half. Yeah, we already talked about it 13 minutes. I think it's the 13-minute mark. I went to the fan comments. Yeah. But yeah, this is Christ. We got a huge audience, and we're an hour and 45 in.
Yeah, we're leading up to the trade deadline. There's some stuff here that could be
meat in the bone. I tell you what, this is the only meat in the bone because after March 7th, after tomorrow, we're talking about F1 racing and fucking
drinks.
Cycling.
Talking about tips. We're talking about nutty. We're talking about
we're shoulder says Bruins 1970.
Yeah.
He's 37 going on 38. He is. And that's why I'm not signing him. Box guy. That's why I'm not getting him 3 years. If he wants, I'd go maybe 2 if he took a little bit of a lesser number. Like I go 2 times 5.5, 6. That's it. I'm not going 3 unless it's like 3 times 4 or 5. Like I'm not giving him
a 3-year deal.
I'm not giving him 3. I'm not getting him 3. What I would like is 1 year and then see how that goes the next year and go on 1 year at a time.
State of the
pulling
Union.
State of the Union minutes tonight.
Only if you give us a standing ovation every time we say something good.
Every time we say something stupid. Yeah.
We want standing ovations from people every time we say something good.
Every time we say something that we're never going to back up, then just stand up and applaud. Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Frederick stopped being what got him in the show. Yes, he used to be a pain in the ass. Yes. All he did now was look up at the scoreboard and skate to the bench. Yes. Like, this is what we've been talking about. Frederick was a large sample size, just like the geeky thing you were just talking about. Same thing with Frederick. It's becoming too large of a sample size. Like, it's time to go. It's time to go, and I'm not signing him.
Look, I think he was neutered by the Bruins to an organization to a certain degree. Just like I think Garnet Hathaway was when he came here, and maybe even Zadorov to a certain extent. You still see the bone crunching hits from him time to time, but the system right now isn't very conducive to guys playing like kind of an in-your-face grinded style, and they don't want you to be dirty.
No,
they don't want you to be.
They had a hard time with Marchand for years with that.
Yeah, and they'll call them out for crossing the line. They call out players that dive. The Bruins have a certain way that they want to play, honorable or whatever the fuck it is. But I'm kind of over that. If you want to give me some dirty-ish players that are assholes and we can win some games, I'd be okay with that. As long as nobody's getting, severely injured, I'm okay with that. I need some more nastiness on my team. I need some more assholes on my team. I need some guys who are gonna, grind down the other team's D by finishing checks. I need a little more of a relentless style. If it was me, that's what I'd want. So, yeah, I'd be open to playing a little bit of a different way.
Yeah, I'd be open to that too. And we talked about the forechecking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we want like some speed and some forechecking, some agitation. That's kind of what the league is. Look at all the good teams in the past couple of years. Yeah. They're all like good forecheckers, all good speed. That's really where it is.
Sure.
It's that thing, and not really size. It's not that people were, because there were a couple of years ago, the Bruins had like 15 guys over 6 feet or whatever, like, or 6 feet and 200 pounds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't that small. It's really not that. It's just the toughness and the winning battles and the forechecking and in your face competitiveness and compete level. That's really what it is. The deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m. That's true. Yeah. Get Carlo out too. He's the most useless player I've ever seen in my life. It's been a really tough year for him. And I'm a Carlo guy.
Me too.
I think he's really good. I think he's underrated when he's good. But this is the longest stretch I've seen where he just is completely lost. I don't know what it is. He's still young at 28. He's not that old.
Yeah, he hasn't been really good this year. And he doesn't offer much offensively. So when that's the case and he's not good defensively, then you really don't have anything there. Mm-hmm. So, because he's really a one-dimensional player. He's not offensively gifted at all. He doesn't think offensive. I mean, I can count a number of times where there'd be a play where if he just stood in at the blue line, he could have kept the puck in, but he was backing out like right away as soon as there was any sign of potentially even losing a puck. He's out. So, he's just not an offensive guy. But when he's right defensively, he can play against the other team's best players, and he shut them down before. He's done it. Mm-hmm. But, not anytime recently he hasn't. So, that's gotta change if he's gonna stay and be a part of this. But I would be willing to trade him if you can get, a good return for him.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing tomorrow, I think, is Geeky's return and what you could get in that decision, or what what the next contract will look like for him. If you go, I don't know if you want to, I am leaning towards you keep him and you get bowled over. You trade him, you get bowled over from it.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see where that lies tomorrow and what because he's on a tremendous pace.
He signed
44 goal pace in the last.
He signed 2 years at 2 per, right?
2 times 2.
2 times
his
2
last
initially,
deal.
yeah.
So he's probably 3.5.
As an RFA, he's probably 3.5. And
3.5.
maybe you try to go, maybe you sign him to a 2-year RFA deal.
Sure.
And you do a little bridgy thing there, and he wants to prove that he's worth more, and you get him now at a little bit of a cheaper rate. So maybe you do 2 times 3.5 or 2 times 3.75 or something, because you can get an extra year out of that thing, and see what he can do with Pastrnak over the course of a full season.
Rob asks if Geeky got a hat trick the night before the trade. How much does it tip his value? But I'll tell you, his value is tipped high right now. It's got to be. I mean, we were talking on group chat tonight, like who other than Rantanen. I mean, who's the next like goal scoring forward out there available? Maybe Brock Besser, but that seems to be a kind of complete cluster in Vancouver. So other than that, there's not many like him that have 22 goals, that have, are going to be probably re-signed next year at a fairly reasonable, very reasonable
contract
deal.
The contract is a big thing. To have control over him for another year after this year is a big deal. A 22 goal guy, like you said, on pace for 44 over a full season. And, the only other guy outside of Rantanen and Geeky and Besser is maybe Marchand. So the Bruins have 2 of those guys potentially, that could net pretty good returns if they're willing to do that.
Yeah.
So, there's some opportunity here for Boston to really make some inroads into, recouping a bunch of draft picks and being able to stock the farm a little bit, getting some young players under control back in return. Like there's some opportunity there if they want to be bold here, but
I wonder if you get back into the lottery again from a team like Geeky's a young guy, making short money. It could be any team, not even contenders. Any team could be interested in that guy.
Sure.
So maybe you can get we got first round pick from this year and get into the lottery twice.
Yeah,
this year.
It's possible. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it could, if they want to ride with that, if they think Geeky would be a better option,
who just made that ridiculous? It was Pittsburgh and fucking who was it? Pittsburgh and somebody made a trade, and Elliot Friedman or somebody went on one of the shows and was like, 2 teams that aren't in playoffs should not be able to even call each other.
Was it San Jose and Pittsburgh?
Is that who it was?
I think it might have been 2 teams were way out of it. Or Anaheim.
He's not asleep.
I think it was Anaheim.
Oh, Anaheim and Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Made a trade. Yeah. We're like, why are those teams?
Why are they trading people
together? Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, someone could go out and say, hey, Geeky will be better than any guy we draft this year. So we'll trade our draft pick. And then you get two shots in the lottery, and you get 2 first round picks.
Yeah.
Which you won't re-sign in 3 years. But I don't know. But yes, has this outfit ever sold high and bought low, says Rob, and that's a very valid point. I mean, it's just not like them. And then Kevin Paul DuPont today writes an article about it's not in their nature to, sell high and make these trades. Yeah, we've been saying this for 6 months. You should have interviewed us for the article.
I mean, you probably was listening to the podcast.
Probably was. It's like, that's a great article. Yeah. You're
welcome, Kevin.
One of the many people who have got ideas from our podcast.
You're welcome, Kevin.
Nashville, says Chris LaValle. Yeah, well, Nashville's been making some moves for a team that's not. I don't know why they claimed Jordan Osterley. Like they're not in it, are they? Is Nashville in it? Aren't they out of it? No.
Yeah, way out.
I don't know why you'd get a 32-year-old defenseman, but hey, have at it. Bruins don't have to have him anymore. Boston and Minnesota just made a trade. Yes, because Nutsinadov
Nutty
Nuttinadov.
Nutty and grapes.
Nutty and grapes. For Brazzers. Our Brazzers.com idea just went out the window.
Yeah. 2 euphemisms for balls.
Yeah, right. In a porn site. Yeah, there you go. That's the extent of the excitement of that trade. They do need a clean house, says Fox Guy.
Yeah.
Who's making the picks is another problem. Like,
It certainly
Sweeney
is.
doesn't have a great track record.
No, it
And I
certainly
think
is.
he knows that.
Yeah.
Like, I think he really is gun shy about the draft picking. Like, I think he doesn't quite know.
That's why you want players back in return.
That's why he wants players. That's why he wants prospect players rather than draft picks.
I mean,
I'm telling you.
I'll tell him what I tell everybody else about him doing the damn trade thing. Take the fucking paper from Central Scouting.
Yes, and just go down the list.
Fucking wall, and then when someone's picked, you cross their name off. Okay, and when it comes to the first guy on your list that's name isn't crossed off when it's your turn, that's who you fucking pick.
Pick him because if he doesn't work out, he was there. Like, he was the next guy in line. So people would be less hard on you if you just pick the next guy in line. That's all you have to do.
If he had done that previously,
in 2015, we'd have
some better
Connor and Shabbat or something. Yeah.
We'd have some better players.
Jesus
Barzell and Connor.
Yeah. So Bennett has been brought up a couple times. Demon 21 and somebody else about Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
And Aaron Ekblad.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a couple of guys. That's a couple of guys you might look at.
I don't love Ekblad, but I do like Bennett a lot because I think he's
kind of an asshole. He's
an asshole. He scores big goals.
Big guy.
He's big. He's tough to play in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He'll drop the gloves. Like, he gives you a little bit of everything. Honestly, you'll have to pay certainly, but yeah, I wouldn't mind Sam Bennett at all. I think he would add an edge to the team that the team could use.
Roslovic, I like Jack Roslovic.
He's playing like no minutes at all in Carolina.
I
might be a guy that you.
There's a guy with some upside. Yeah. There's a guy. Time to go back to Punta Cana. Let's start the off season early, says New Hampshire. But I'm with you. Time to go back. 85 and sunny every day. I come back to 48 and rain.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. Anybody find it odd that in a must-need points game against a good team, Sway didn't get the nod?
That is a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good question. I think they've been a lot lately, and honestly,
I think they're in a we've kind of waved the white flag kind of mode and not saying it. Just kind of playing, guys.
I mean, it's they've the loss to Nashville, I think, might have been
that nailed it.
That sealed the deal. I think
6-3 to a team that was 6-20-4.
Yeah, the worst road team
in the league, and they beat you by 3 goals.
Yeah, and they beat you by 3 goals. That was a wave the white flag. So I think that's probably why Sway didn't play today, because I think they know it's over.
Yeah, there's another thing about DiPietro and Bussy in the goaltending situation into the offseason. I mean, both those guys are RFAs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep going with those guys? DiPietro's had a really great year. Korpisalo, do you try to move him in the offseason, give DiPietro the go? Are you going to be a Stanley Cup contender next year? Probably not. So does that factor in? Do you just play a young guy as a backup, give him a shot? I don't know. I mean, do you go back to some sort of goalie tandemish thing, or more tandemish type of situation with the goalies? Does that help Swayman?
I think you give. I mean, you paid the guy like a number one, so I think you go into the season expecting him to be the number one, and then if it doesn't work out, you'll have to adjust. But I think you go in with the idea that Swayman will be a clear number one, and then you'll have somebody else there to back up. Now, if it's DiPietro or Korpisalo, I mean, Korpi's been good. I was, critical of him early on, especially. I didn't think it was a good return on the trade. I still don't, but he's been pretty good here. Goalie Bob working his magic or whatever. Sure. But for a team that's going to be in the situation they're in, probably the same type of thing where they're maybe fighting for a spot or right on the fringe. Like, do you need a back goalie making 3, or could you move him and maybe bring in DiPietro at short money, save a little there, and be able to help somewhere else on your roster? So that's something they probably should be considering.
That's true. Demon says, how do you feel about Jonathan Drouin? next offseason.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I just think with a guy like Joanne, he kind of is what he is now.
Yeah.
He's been in the league a while. Hasn't really panned out as what they thought he'd be.
No, I think he's soft-ish.
We don't. The Bruins don't need any more soft fucking sell. They don't need any more soft guys.
So that's the thing. Like, he's softish, but I would take him on the team because he's better than most of the forwards they have.
Sure, right. I guess. No. I mean, if you're a third line guy, sure.
So
yeah, put him on the third line.
I mean,
yeah,
he'd play second line for us.
Well, right now, yeah.
He'd probably play the first line. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, as much as I would say I wouldn't want him, I would like other options instead, like Bennett or, Marner, Pipe Dream. But if you're talking about that level of player, yeah, the Bruins could use him, sure, because he's better than what they have right now. He's not I don't think he's a real great playoff guy, and he's never really lived up to his potential. And he's playing with Colorado now, or is he? He's still with Colorado, right?
I think so. Yeah. Zach Ace calls him Pavel Zacha.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I see him as. He's like a high first round pick who never really lived up to his potential.
No, he didn't.
Just like that.
Just like Zacha. Yeah, they're not quite there. Like a decent player. This year, 29 games, 7 goals, 18 assists, so 25 points in 29 games.
Yeah, but he's playing with Colorado.
He's playing with Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, so, he has concussion problems, doesn't he? I'm not mistaken.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does. 5'11", 200 pounds. He'll be 30 at the end of the month.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's other guys I would take ahead of him for sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, the Bruins might not. It might be like a beggars can't be choosers type of situation. Like they're going to need to bring in some talented guys, or more talented guys than what they have now, and it might be things like that where you're taking, some middle of the road guys who are just better than what you have.
Yeah, for sure. Fox guy 67 is all over goalie Bob. Thinks he's overrated. Thinks he's just crushing him in the comments. But goalie Bob made Yaroslav Halak pretty good. Goalie Bob has a really good track record with goalies. Tuukka Rask is the best goalie they've ever had. I mean, I know your issues with him, and you're one of those guys that likes to rip on Tuukka Rask, but Tuukka Rask is the most talented goalie they've ever had. Yeah. He had won a shit ton of games and had great stats, and playoff stats were better. Look at him.
Yep.
So, but you're going to have that narrative. He's a Finn. He's not the type of personality you like. We get it. You didn't like him. So, but I mean, there's been many goaltenders who have come here. Korpi's been recorrected.
Sure.
Korpi's played well. I mean, he was in the dumpster when
Allmark was bad.
Allmark was bad. Yeah, Allmark was not very good. And they have done goalies well in the Bruins. They can identify them. They can see what strengths they have. They can play to those strengths. They can make them into good goaltenders. They really can. They've done it over the years. They can't develop a forward to save their motherfucking life.
Nope.
But they can do it with goaltenders.
Yeah. So one area where they're actually decent.
Yeah. Well, yes, is goaltending. But they can't score goals and they can't keep the puck out of the net with their defense. So that's what you have right now. Chris Kelly is another one who's got to go get the hell out of here. And I would tend to agree with, but the Bruins are very kind of incestuous with how they do things. They keep things in house. They retread players. Old players. If you're a Boston Bruins guy, look at Joe Sacco. He's been hanging on we thought he should have been let go 4 years ago. Now he's the interim head coach. So what do we know? But they do build goaltenders. All right, let's get the hell out of here. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes in to a completely useless game. But we appreciate all the people watching tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
Get back after it. Saturday afternoon game, 3:00 ABC, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, that should be a tilt.
That'll be a beaut.
Yep.
And and then we'll see everybody then. There'll be a new episode dropping as well. And we'll keep you updated on what happens after the trade deadline tomorrow. Until then, as always, go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.